What up, folks? Welcome back to Ultrazilla Toys, and today I have a review of the NECA Batman Begins Christian Bale Batman. Yes, this is the, I guess they're like TRU exclusives that NECA does every year with DC characters. This is that Batman, and there's also a Harlequin release this year from, I believe it's Arkham City. I have that as well. We'll be reviewing it soon, but I wanted to take a look at Bats here. It's been kind of a, I don't know about controversial, but kind of a funny figure if you've seen some reviews. There's a lot of bad ones out there with like a lot of bad eyes, but on this particular trip to TRU, the shelves were pretty stocked, and I think I had just missed a NECA rep at that day because the NECA section was like healthy, you know? And all of these guys were on the shelf, so I was able to, sift through them and find what I thought was the best one. It looks pretty good, and I've done this review a few times already, testing out a new background, as you can see, and different lighting for this background. It's not 100% perfect yet, and it probably won't be for a while. I'll be messing with it for a little bit. This background's kind of temporary too anyway. Just as a little aside, we're growing here, so we're trying to figure things out, but I definitely had to get rid of my other background. Not important to this review. What is important is taking a look at Batman. So this is a decent sculpt, and I don't want to move him from this position yet too much because while it is a nice sculpt, it has some odd proportions, and it's looking okay now the way it's posed, but like from here to here, it's kind of too long, and his head is really big, but that's due to the costume as well, excuse me. But like if you look at his legs in like certain angles, they just look, I don't know if they look too short, or I don't know, something here in this section is throwing me off. So definitely some weird proportions to this guy, but otherwise the sculpt is pretty nice. Like I actually really do dig it, and I dig it more and more with every review I do of this guy. Hopefully this will be the last, and I will be putting it up. But yeah, it's a nice sculpt. Like looking at his head, his head is a soft plastic, which is not so hot in my opinion. But the sculpt is decent. I did have a little bit of a warp here on his ear, but his bat ear. But like like it was either that or some bad eyes, and there was a lot of bad ones in that batch, unfortunately. So, the eyes turned out okay on this one, which is good. And his mouth looks good. It has a good Christian Bale look. Like the rest of the body is sculpted really nice. I love the bat signal, it looks really good. I love how the armor looks. It just looks pretty sweet, The boots look really nice. There's a nice, like texture here. Very well done. His gauntlets look good. His belt buckle, it's all sculpted in the back too. It's really good. His belt buckle looks fantastic. His utility belt, I should say. Really well done. So sculpt is not a problem with this guy, and if you get him in like certain poses, it looks good, It's like when he's just standing vanilla that you can really see some of those odd proportions I'm talking about. The cape, let's look at the cape real quick, since we were back here. It does attract a lot of dust, unfortunately, but it's like, because it's like this like satiny cloth. I like it though, it looks good. It's got like a shine to it. I don't know, it's well done. I don't mind capes like this, honestly, and it's not too long or anything. It's probably just right for a back cape, and it's cut well on the bottom. Unlike if you saw my Darth Revan review last week, that all his like soft goods are terrible. But this looks good. This is well done. So, you know, looking at the paint, let's raise him up just a bit. Looking at the paint on this guy, again, the eyes are painted well, thankfully. The mouth is painted well. You know, his exposed face here is good. There's nothing wrong with the paint there. It all came out all right. Otherwise, there's not that much paint other than the utility belt, and we'll talk about that in a second. But you get like a glossy paint here on the gauntlets, and they do look good. You know, it's a nice contrast to the matte finish of the armor. And the boots have both the gloss and the matte, so that makes for a really nice look when you're like kind of turning this guy around a little bit to look at him. So that utility belt, wow, that's the big winner here. It's really gorgeous. You know, I already mentioned that the sculpt is really nice, but the paints really bring it out. Some silvers in there, like it's like a coppery brown, you know, with like some glints of gold if you like kind of, you know, catch it with the right light. Really well done, guys. That is excellent. So pretty good. Pretty good in those terms. I dig it. As you see, he's holding the grapnel gun, and the sculpt on that one is really nice as well as the paint. Very well applied. Nothing crazy on this one. Really nice. And this is probably how I'm going to be displaying it. He's not... We're going to look at the articulation in a second, but like he's not like... He's got a lot of articulation, but a lot of it isn't so functional. So, you know, like just a good like shooting the grapnel gun pose is the way to go for me, at least. So let's quickly look at his other accessories before we get into that articulation, just because we talked about the gun. So I still have everything in here. And speaking of the gun, it comes with this little holster type of thing that like attaches to his belt. And it attaches, I think, more to the back of the belt because it's like a little thicker back there, and it seems to be the right width for this. Unfortunately, the gun won't stay on this, so I quickly put it back. I won't be using that. In the package, he came with another. He was, you know, had a fisted hand, and he also has another holding hand here, and all well sculpted. And those are for the batarangs over here. Which are pretty small, so I'm kind of like scared to take them out. I will in my picks, but yep, those are the batarangs, and it goes in this hand. So the batarangs are done in that same color as the utility belt and the grapnel gun, so very cool, very nice stuff. So articulation. This is where this figure kind of like falters. His head is barely, you barely could get any movement. You got very little, but it's kind of like the cowl, the back cowl itself, you know, like, yeah, that mask just, it's like a helmet, you know, like a knight's helmet. It just doesn't move very well in the movies. I felt like yeah, I've always felt like you know, until Batman vs. Superman, from like the first Batman with Keaton through the Nolan films, like the suit has been very problematic. The whole armor thing is too much. While there's armor in Batman vs. Superman, I thought it was, you know, both suits were, you know, done way better. Even the Nightmare Batman is alright. So anywho, so you can't really do much with that. His shoulders, you know, they're starting to loosen up a little bit, but they're really tight, so please be careful. With that, it's definitely going to need a little blow dryer action to get that loosened up. I didn't want to do it here because I wanted to show that that's a problem that you might have. So, but, you know, it looks like there's some decent movement in there. His elbows, you know, kind of swivel, and they're single hinged, and his hands do swivel, and there is a hinge, but it's a little tough sometimes to get it to to function right, so it's a little tight. I do want to point out, like, now that I have this fist, that there's some really good sculpt work, even, you know, in the palm there. That's pretty awesome. He's got ab crunch, but it's very, very tight. So you can't really, and it's hindered a bit, you know, because of the way the armor is shaped, so not so hot there. His waist swivel, he can go around, but it's really tight as well. His thighs are actually pretty good. They come out pretty far, and it's pretty well done. And they swivel because it's got like this like kind of skeleton inside, the way it's done, and it's pretty neat. These only have one hinge, but they also turn, and it's probably the same joint inside. The only problem is when you do move one piece, you kind of not everything moves together, so it's a little. He gets knock-kneed a lot, so you gotta watch out with that. His feet only have a little bit of movement side to side and back and front. It might be just really tight, but I'm not gonna force it. So yeah, it's okay. It's got okay articulation, you know, like, but it's not super functional, so that's a bit of a problem. And I'd watch out because, again, it's pretty tight. So let's do some size comparisons really quick to get this video wrapped. Here's Batman with a black costume Spidey. There you go. That's a Marvel Legends. And here he is with the multiverse Harlequin from Suicide Squad. There you go with that. He's a pretty tall guy. Let's bring in someone even shorter than I have here. Darth Revan, who I talked about earlier, with the extremely tattered soft goods. Very short figure. Surprisingly short. How about my new SH Monstars Godzilla 1989? Dude. And with another big guy. How about the Ori Toy Hero of Steel Optimus Prime? Pretty cool figure. A little loosey-goosey, but pretty cool figure. Alright, so, and that's that, guys. Let's close them up nice. But, you know, this isn't a bad figure. So that'll be my final word. Definitely worth the price, but definitely, you know, try to, I'd say avoid, or, I don't know, can you order this guy online? I'm not even sure. I don't know if he's one that you can order online at all. So it might be just in-store, luck of the draw type of thing. But if you do come across this guy and you see a bunch of him, definitely, you know, look at them all, because, you know, that problem with the eyes, you know, while I don't have it, is definitely, you know, he's definitely, a lot of these figures are cross-eyed, unfortunately, that I've seen. Saw the ones in person and seen them all, you know, online in reviews, so it is what it is. But I like mine, you know, I think it's pretty cool, you know, I do have some proportion issues, but other than that, you know, and some articulation issues, but I still like it as a display piece. Look at it right there, that looks pretty good, no? That's a nice representation of the Christian Bale Batman. You know what, that's all I need. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. So, give a check to my Facebook page, Ultrazilla Toys. I will have pics up of this guy pretty soon, I hope. A little backed up on the pic taking, but hopefully I'll have a little pile here of figures that need to be photographed. So please give a check to that. Give a like to the page. I always post news and all kinds of stuff there, as well as pics of both boxes and figures. And if you can like, comment, subscribe here, that would be awesome. And if you could share too, if you like what I'm doing, by all means, please share, you know, the content, the reviews, you know. doing my best here, you know, again, experimenting right now with the backgrounds a little bit. I definitely can see there's a little weird fuzziness going on in the background. I don't know if that's because of the black there, but I'll figure it out. So, and let me know what you think. Do you like this better than the white? Do you like the white better? You know, should I try to get a different white? That white one is kind of busted, so I'm limiting what I'm doing with it right now. Probably just pick taking. So, but anyway, that's all I got. So, till next time, peace out, peeps.